no. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. We're going all the way so you can score more for your trade-in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV today. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Welcome to the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News as we get you set for the latest news, insight, and analysis as game time approaches. The BNN pregame show is presented by Lithia Ford of Boise. Check out lithiafordboise.com to view the full inventory of vehicles or check them out at 8853 West Fairview in Boise. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, let's head out and join BJ Rains for the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News.
Well, good evening and welcome to the Thomas and Mack Center here in Las Vegas. We get you set for a big one here in the Mountain West Conference semifinal action starting tonight with a huge game for Boise State as they look to pick up a quad one win and keep alive those bubble hopes and, more importantly, play for a championship tomorrow in the championship game of the Mountain West Tournament. It'll be Boise State and New Mexico coming up in about 90 minutes over on the CBS Sports Network. And the gentleman that'll be on the call with our man Rich Waltz is Dan Dickau, and he's nice enough to join us. I know you love doing Boise State games until you remember that you're going to get stuck with me trying to give you the head nod to come over for a few minutes. But, Dan, always appreciate it, man. How you doing?
All good. I can't complain too much. Yesterday was some great basketball that Rich Waltz and I was able to call the first two quarterfinal games. Obviously, in your shoes, Boise State won, so that made it even better for you. But what a performance defensively down the stretch for the Broncos yesterday to beat San Diego State.
Yeah, we were sitting here going, there's no way this was the game plan to keep shooting all these threes. And then after the game, Leon's like, no, that was exactly the game plan. And he said they wanted between 36 and 50 threes. They get 40, tie the program record of 43-point attempts. And, they only made 11, so I'm not ready to give them a ton of credit and say it worked completely. But, I mean, they won the game, and that was just an interesting strategy there early on. But that late in the first half, they're down 11. They hit two big ones right before half to cut it to 5. And then when they needed a couple more, about 5 minutes left in the game, Tyson and Al both hit big ones as well. So they hit the big ones when they needed to.
They did, and you touched on that, 2 back-to-back threes to end the first half, but then they started off on a 7-0 run. So spanning halftime, it was a 13-0 run. I think it really kind of stemmed the tide. I think it gave them a lot of confidence. And then those 2 big threes you talked about, Degenhart and Cardenas, making big plays in the final 5 minutes or so were huge.
What do you think just for Boise State? They haven't had a ton of success in this tournament over the years. Just to get that first one out of the way last night and kind of take a deep breath, and not to say they're going to relax tonight. This is obviously a bigger game now than yesterday was, but is there anything in tournament action maybe just get the first one out of the way and they maybe come out and play a little a little more confident tonight?
Well, I think you're used to the atmosphere now on your second day. you can rely upon some of the previous experiences that you had were positive outcomes. Carmichael making a couple threes, Cardenas making big threes. Because really, at the end of the day, Cardenas hit 3 in the first half that were shot clock winding down over an outstretched hand where they're really difficult. His percentage wasn't great. I think he was 4 of 13 from 3 on the night. That's probably more threes than he's ever taken in his life in a game. But they were necessary threes, and he made those 3 big ones. And so you get in this atmosphere because it is different than a regular season game. So you get that out of the way. But on the flip side, New Mexico's the same way. The only thing with New Mexico is they weren't in as physical a game as Boise State was. That game yesterday was as physical as I've seen throughout this year.
Yeah, no doubt. And obviously, tight game, 5 minutes to go, whatever. Boise State pulls it out, and now they'll play for the semifinals, like you said. And I remember the first time I had you on my show was a game up in Spokane, one of the first Boise State-Washington State games. I just started BNN. Tyson was a freshman. Believe it or not, I think I told you this, but the day I started Bronco Nation News and left the paper was the day of Tyson's first start as a freshman against St. Louis. So I've been kind of this whole ride has been right along seeing him play. But we enter this game now 17 points away from tying the Boise State all-time scoring record, 18 points from breaking that record. Last time he played New Mexico, he had 32 points. You've obviously followed him. We've talked about it. You're obviously very close to him and have followed his career a long time. Probably, I don't know if you ever could have imagined the all-time leading scorer in the school, but to be on the cusp of history tonight, what can you say about Tyson and his career and his legacy at Boise State?
Well, kind of helping him throughout the recruiting process in regards to thinking about what would be important to him, and also seeing the type of player that he was at the time but could evolve to become. You knew he was going to have a good career wherever he chose. It happened to be a tremendous fit under Leon Rice in Boise. But the big thing you see from him is just the sticking with it at Boise. Yeah, he had tremendous success early, but I'm sure there were others, schools and agents that were trying to pry him away, get him to go somewhere else. And you don't see that loyalty in a career all in one place too often anymore. So, you had the skill, you had the foresight of wanting to go to Boise, what could be, and then you've seen it all come to fruition. It is pretty cool. And the fact is, you're not going to see these kind of stories too much in college athletics, unfortunately, unless you've got the skill and the character and the fit. And I think those all fit with Tyson and Boise State.
Boise State 23-9 on the season. If you listen to Jerry Palm, they're on the right side. You listen to some of the others, they're just barely on the wrong side. I think most agree they have to win this game tonight. But I guess the question would be, is that enough, or do they need to win tomorrow's game too, in your opinion?
Well, it'd be nice to win both. But I think if they win tonight, they're in for sure. I think they're a tournament team. I personally don't like these power conference teams when teams are easily below 500. And I'm talking, 7-11 and 8-10. Sometimes
the Oklahomas of the world, the 5-13s or whatever it is. Yeah.
That to me, that's just because you're in a power conference and you have opportunities, and you should win a lot of those games at home, which allows you the quad 1 and quad 2 wins. I think this league, and we've talked about it before, doesn't get the amount of national credit it deserves. And I partial to the WCC as well. Even though Gonzaga and St. Mary's have been dominant in that league for so many years, I think that league is better nationally than people give it credit to. But I think the one thing that is hurting the Mountain West, probably with some people in their views, is last year's performance. 6 teams in. Granted, they were all underseeded in my eyes. They didn't perform well enough to maybe give them a benefit of the doubt. But I hope that's not the case. I mean, I legitimately could see if Colorado State, wins this thing, I could see 5 teams out of the Mountain West.
I would love that. I don't see that, but I would love. I think if somebody asked me who should Boise State be rooting for tonight in the second game if they win, and I said Utah State, because if Colorado State steals a bid, that probably pushes either Boise State or San Diego State to the wrong side. But
you might be right. I mean, if Boise State makes the title game and loses to Colorado State, I think you got 4 in for certain, and then San Diego State would be the team that's sweating it out on Selection Sunday. Although if you look at bracket matrix, which kind of breaks down all of your projected seeds and gives you an average of them, San Diego State is very comfortably in the tournament. As opposed to where Boise State, I believe, only has 8% of the brackets out there right now having them in the tournament.
Yeah, and 5 new committee members this year too. So we got a special guest saying hello to you.
Hey, what's up?
Final thing for you, I'll let you go talk to Coach, but just this matchup tonight, Boise State, New Mexico, they've split in the regular season. Obviously, Donovan Dent is a load to handle. I think they said it was the first time in Mountain West history the 2 point guards had double-doubles with assists and points in the same game when they were in Boise earlier this season. So it's a massive game. I mean, obviously, New Mexico, the regular season champs. You could argue Boise State maybe needs it a little more in terms of, the tournament and things. But obviously a heavyweight fight tonight, and Vegas has 1 point spread, so they're seeing a really close game here.
And I think it's going to be a game that goes down to the final couple minutes. Both are really good teams in different styles. New Mexico's fast. Boise wants to slow it down, be really physical. But the 2 point guards, Donovan Dent, only player in the country, 20 points, 6 assists a game. And Cardenas, he doesn't have the scoring numbers, but he's got a tremendous pulse on the game and what needs to be done to put Boise in a position to win. And he's got that kind of championship mentality that he wants to make big plays, and I think he showed it in the quarterfinals against San Diego State.
We appreciate you for coming on. CBS Sports Network, 6:30 Pacific, 7:30 Mountain. Going to be a late night East Coast game. The second game starts like midnight or something on the East Coast. I was thankful to see Boise State got the early game tonight. But thanks for doing this.
Absolutely.
And appreciate it. And we'll be watching the call, man. Thanks.
All right, take care.
There he is. Dan Dickau does a tremendous job with Rich Waltz. They'll be on the call tonight. They should be on the call for the championship. I don't know why they didn't get that, but that's a story for another day. Appreciate Dan Dickau for joining us. This is the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show. We are live at the Thomas and Mack Center, getting you set for Boise State, New Mexico, a monster game here in the Mountain West, and we are excited to be here on Bronco Nation News Live. So get your comments in, your score predictions in, where you're watching from. We're going to be here for another 45 minutes or so. We do have to be off about 6 o'clock due to some Mountain West rules here. So we are able to be courtside, though, and we're going to have a couple special guests. Abe Jackson's going to join us in about 15 minutes. We got our man Jeff Grammer as well. So we're going to have fun here on the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show. So Lithia Ford of Boise, our title sponsor of the pregame show. Lithia Ford of Boise. Check them out online at lithiafordboise.com. And they got some great deals right now. They need to get those 2024 models out of here and off the lot. So if you're looking for a deal right now, four-wheel drive vehicle, an F-150, they got you covered. Lithia Ford of Boise, and again, they got the NIL game going. They're supporting some of the student athletes at Boise State. So return the favor here, folks. Lithia Ford of Boise is the website. You can check out their full inventory online at lithiafordboise.com. And our title sponsor is rowpaint.com. Andy Rowe and Company, we appreciate them for their support of BNN. Rowpaint.com, all your painting needs. Make sure you hit up our title sponsor at rowpaint.com, whether it's those concrete coatings, interior, exterior painting. You can hit that up at rowpaint.com. TacoBellWorks.com. Again, Jeff Grammer going to join us momentarily here from the Albuquerque Journal. Get the New Mexico perspective here. TacoBellWorks.com is their website. We appreciate the SOM Management Group, the Nicolason family. Head on out to Taco Bell. Perfect time to pick up some food on the way home for the game tonight. And if you're looking for a job, they are hiring, by the way. TacoBellWorks.com is the website. Get more information if you're looking for a career at Taco Bell. And Idaho Central Credit Union as well. ICCU.com. Check them out. Idaho Central Credit Union. ICCU.com. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest, that mobile e-branch online banking right there in your smartphone. ICCU.com. We appreciate their support of Bronco Nation News. All right, our man Jeff Grammer, nice enough to join us here. Jeff, courtside. Not going to put you on blast for getting to come join me yesterday, but this works out better to have you here pregame. And you got your own pregame show to get going here shortly as well. But this should be a fun one tonight.
Yeah, I mean, this time of year, it's good. Look, upsets are fun and all that, but you want to see the good teams playing good teams, right? And for Boise State, this is probably needed more kind of game. And obviously the Lobos being in the game and not getting upset yesterday by San Jose State, or had it been Wyoming, whatever, certainly gives the quad one opportunity for the Broncos. So that's a good opportunity, because on the other half of the bracket, I just don't see those guys getting the same opportunities as this top half is giving.
You're acting like you've never worn a headset here before. Get that a little closer to your mouth there, so we can. There you go. Appreciate that. Tyson Degenhart, by the way, 17 points away from becoming the all-time leading scorer in Boise State history. So I know New Mexico would love to not have that happen tonight, but
I don't see that happening.
You don't see him not getting 18?
Yeah, I don't see him not getting it. He will get
17 ties at 18, makes him the all-time leading scorer in Boise State history. And he had 32 points in that meeting up in Boise. He got to the free throw line 15 times as well. I know Richard Pitino has been very complimentary over the years of Tyson Degenhart, but one of the premier players, frankly, in Mountain West history. I mean, I think he was the second Mountain West player ever to be 3-time first-team selection. And I know Boise State's looking for a big game from him tonight, and that'll be a big task for New Mexico.
Yeah, he's certainly going down. Look, however you want to kind of slice it up, he's going to go down as one of the best ever in the Mountain West Conference. Certainly, if you want to quantify it, you don't have to, but if you want to put a little context on it, certainly one of the best 4-year players, right? He's a guy that stuck around. There's something to be said for that in this modern era, and so good for him, right? He deserves all the pats on the back that he gets, and Patino certainly gives him a lot of pats on the back. I will say that the game, one big difference between the game in Albuquerque and the game in Boise was that Mustafa Amzil didn't play. He's not by any stretch a star on the level of Tyson Degenhart, but that did sort of kind of put the Lobos in a rotation where they played a freshman at starting at the 4.
Yeah,
and kind of Tyson ate his lunch a little bit. It wasn't a good matchup. Mustafa Amzil will play today. That'll give at least some minutes to a veteran 5th-year guy to put on Tyson a little bit, and that should help the Lobos out a little bit compared to the last meeting. That said, Tyson is a guy that can get to the foul line quite a bit against the Lobos because unless they got Nelly Jr. Joseph on him, which they generally don't, they'll put the 5 on the 5 if they can, and Tyson's playing more 4. I would say that unless they put Nelly Jr. Joseph on him, that he's going to probably get to the line quite a bit again tonight.
Now, you were telling me yesterday, and again, Jeff Grammer is our guest from the Albuquerque Journal. And by the way, someone's asking when the Speedo is getting busted out. We didn't see you over at the pool today.
I was escorted out. Apparently showing up to the actual hotel before you get to the pool in a Speedo is frowned upon.
Well, we had RJ Keene joined us on the post-game show, and he was in a bathroom back at the hotel.
Nice.
He was trying to find a quiet spot, and then he was in the bathroom. And then Mike Burns walked in to do some business there. We got a little awkward for a minute in the bathroom, but so you never know, man. It is Vegas. Yes, it is. All right, tell us about this New Mexico team, because you told me yesterday you don't really think they're playing that great.
Yeah.
Obviously, Donovan Dent, Nelly Jr. Joseph, everybody knows about them, but overall, just your take on the Lobos coming into this matchup.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, it's all relative, right? They're the first place team in the league, so they've set the bar pretty high, and I don't think they've been playing to the same level that they were in when they were on that run in January and even early February. Went on the road and beat Utah State by 19 in Logan, and they had a really good game in the pit. They were really every game using the defense and the offense, get out into the fast break game and all that kind of stuff. They were at their best in that month. It isn't that they regressed so much. It's just that they haven't really been running as much. I do know that I think they had 13 or maybe as 15 fast break points in Boise, but the last, I'd say 4 or 5 games of the season, I think I looked it up last night, and their fast break points, they're number 2 in the nation in fast break points. They're just at 17 a game. And the last 4 games of the season, I think they were down to 12 or 11 or 12 fast break points a game.
Yeah.
Yesterday against San Jose State, they only had 4. It doesn't matter necessarily a whole lot when you're still getting the points off turnovers, and they did force 18 turnovers. The thing is, the Lobos are at their best when they get those live ball turnovers, and then they get out in the transition. They are not as good offensively against a set defense, and that's even with Donovan Dent being a fantastic pick-and-roll point guard. They're just so much better in transition than they are in the half court. And
that's been the big thing for them against Boise State as well. That first game down at the pit, they had 29 fast break points. I think they had 21 in the second game. So I know that's probably a big key for Boise State is to limit them in transition.
Yeah, and that's what Tim Miles said yesterday, too, after the game. San Jose State lost, but I asked him, I said, look, you guys made it ugly against the Lobos in the pit the first go-around way back in December. You guys upset them in San Jose. What was the key? What's the emphasis when you're playing the Lobos? And he said, number one, before you start worrying about Donovan even, you start worrying about them getting out and running. And if you can stop them from running, that is the number one emphasis. If you can then start focusing on Donovan Dent or Nelly Jr. Joseph and the pick and roll and all that, that's secondary. But the number one thing he says is just don't let them get out and run.
Now, Devo Bronk, this is kind of ironic. He says Jeff has bad grammar, but he spelled Jeff wrong. So
yeah. And it is true. I spelled Jeff and grammar wrong.
All right. So this matchup, Boise State, where are you in terms of Boise State, the bubble here? Do you think they need to win the tournament? Do you think they need to win tonight? Obviously need to win tonight. I think we would all agree with that. But what do you make of if they get to tomorrow? Is it enough tonight?
So this will be a quad one. I was watching the field of 68, fielding the 68 earlier today.
Yeah.
And Rocco Miller, I forget who the second guy they had on was, but anyway, the two bracketologists they had on today seemed pretty optimistic that Boise with the win tonight is in. I'll side with them, but man, I would be sweating it out on Sunday if you don't go ahead and win this tournament.
Sure.
But I think they're going to be in with if you beat San Diego State and then you beat New Mexico in consecutive nights, I would hope that the committee would put you in with that. And you can't take away, a really good diversified non-conference schedule where they did go on the road a little bit. Maybe I know Rocco was pointing out. I love
Rocco,
Idaho.
but he loves to point out that all their big games are in the state of Idaho. Yeah. Yes.
And that said, they still have the Clemson win. They still have the St. Mary's win. Those things matter, man. Like, not a whole lot of teams that are on the bubble have what Boise has, and for that matter, what San Diego State has. I don't think San Diego State's going to make it, but this so far is the right scenario for the whole Mountain West, right? Boise wins last night against San Diego State. You hope San Diego State still gets in. Boise wins tonight and gets themselves in, and then Colorado State just goes ahead and wins the tournament. That's the path to getting 5 teams in, actually.
It ain't going to be 5.
No.
It ain't going to be 5.
I agree with you.
I know our friends on the field of 68 want the 5 with Jeff Goodman and those guys, but
it
ain't happening.
As they said.
4 would be
I'm thinking 4 is a little optimistic. I do think that Utah State and New Mexico are comfortable. I don't think even a loss today for New Mexico is not dropping them out of the field. They might drop to a 10 or 11, but they're pretty comfortable in the 8-9 line on every bracket I've seen. I don't think Utah State falls out, although I do see them a scenario where they maybe are a little lower than a lot of people think, and they might be at 11. They might be in a Dayton kind of scenario. But I really think this is going to end up being 3 teams.
Devo Bronx says, I just wish I liked the New Mexico Lobo fans as much as I like their beat writers. So you at least got one fan up in Boise there.
I'll take it.
I would say, by the way, if Boise State wins today, I would just assume they're going to go win tomorrow. I think
so?
They're riding something. I said it on that field of 68 show, whether you want to call them a team of destiny, whatever, but I don't see this team getting to winning this game tonight and then laying an egg tomorrow.
So the big thing too tomorrow, this is a reality of this tournament, is the later game tonight. Yep. They're going to be playing. They're going to be here. Look, by the time, let's just say it's Colorado State, just for the sake of having a team to having the conversation.
Sure.
Colorado State wins tonight. They're not going to be back to their hotel and in bed sleeping until 1, 2 in the morning.
Oh, yeah. They won't even be back in the hotel till at least 1. Yeah.
Right. And the game doesn't start then until 3 o'clock local time.
14 hours.
Yeah. They're it's going to be rough. Like if they get 12 hours between like hitting their head on the pillow and tip off, that'll be as the most they're going to get. So there's not a whole lot of prep, luckily, in a conference tournament. You know everybody, so there's not going to be a whole lot of that. But I will say that the later game, there's a big difference between this early semifinal and the later one.
No doubt.
The tournament history though actually has the 2 seed, which is going to be on that side of the bracket.
Yeah,
has won more than 1 seed. So. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about.
And this crowd tonight is going to be probably 98% Lobo fans. We saw yesterday, and I would assume a Thursday noon game. There were probably many more of them that flew in last night. What is the drive if people were to drive? Is it drivable?
8
it's that
hours.
far? Okay, so
8.
most would fly
it's
then.
About 8.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, there's a lot that do the drive.
Okay,
there's a lot.
And so I would think tonight it's going to be, if there's 10,000 people here, there may be 500 Boise State fans.
Well, so here's the thing: is like some people kind of poke at the Lobo fans, like, oh, there's nothing else to do in New Mexico. Well, that's okay. Like, this is what they do. This is their thing. This Lobo basketball is their thing. They don't do Lobo football. There isn't a pro sport. But if you look, and it's not just that there's going to be a lot of Lobo fans here in the arena. If you look, you'll see like an old person sitting next to a younger person, maybe next to a kid. There's a lot of like grandparents, kids, and then like young kids that are coming to their tournament for the first time. This is sort of, like it or not, this is sort of a family trip, family tradition for a whole lot of Lobo fans. This is what they do. They love their Lobo basketball.
And speaking of tradition, isn't there some rule about bringing a flag?
New Mexicans are not allowed to go to a major sporting event without bringing their state flag. I'm putting the over-under tonight at 30.
30 state flags.
I think there's going to be 30 New Mexico flags in this arena tonight. It has picked up a little bit in the last couple of years as people are getting on to social media and like waving their flags. But it's always been a thing, but it's actually picked up a lot the last few years.
All right, real quick, final thing, because I know you want to get to your show here before we run out of time. But just this, your final thoughts, keys. How do you see it? Not necessarily asking you to make a prediction, but just how do you kind of see this game going here?
True Washington's defense on Cardenas is going to be really key. I think Alvaro is going to have a good game.
Which, by the way, I'll show you the live look there. There they are out there warming up.
I think he's going to have his moments. He's going to have a good game in general. But if you take away, 100% good game for him, if True Washington cuts that to, 70 or 80% good game, and, he struggles for just at least a third of the game, let's just call it that, I really think that takes Boise out of a lot of what they want to do offensively. I don't think they're going to shut down Tyson, but I do think True Washington is good enough defensively that if he can cause some problems at the point guard spot and on-ball defense, I think that's going to be a big key.
Well, we appreciate it. What's the website for the Albuquerque Journal if folks want to read your stuff?
abqjournal.com.
abqjournal.com, and you're just at Jeff Grammer on Twitter, correct?
At Jeff Grammer on Twitter. I don't spell Jeff right. I don't spell Grammer right, but you'll find me.
Hey, man, always a pleasure.
Appreciate you, man.
At least one of us will be covering a championship game tomorrow.
That's right.
I got 2 flights booked tomorrow. One for noon if they lose, one for 8 something if they win. So
harder than me. I don't have a flight booked until Sunday because tomorrow was already booked. So tomorrow's already full going back to Albuquerque.
When you fly back, like say they win the tournament and you're on a plane with all Lobo fans, I mean, are they all just buying you drinks and stuff on the flight? Or
There's a lot of spirited Lobo fans. I will say that. That's for sure.
I appreciate it, man.
All right, man.
Good luck. I'll talk to you a little later. Good luck on your pregame show as well. Jeff Grammer, one of the best in the business here. We appreciate him for jumping on here. We're taking a lot of your comments, your thoughts, your score predictions. North Carolina down 22 in the second half. What does that mean for the bubble picture? We'll certainly examine that here moving forward, but I want to thank a couple more of our sponsors that make this show possible. You see Boise State, they're not allowed to shoot the basketball until the 57-minute clock begins. So right now they are all stretching, warming up. Some of the players are dancing over here on the side. They're sitting on the bench. New Mexico has not yet made their way out onto the floor, but Boise State is here going with the blue uniforms again today. But they're just waiting. You see Tyson Degenhardt. I'll pan this over here. There's Tyson Degenhardt just by himself sitting over there collecting his thoughts. The final chair on the far left. You can kind of see him. There's a team manager kind of blocking some of the view. But you can see Tyson and some of these guys just kind of sitting there talking, waiting for that clock to begin so they can get out there and get going with the shooting and things. But those are some of the rules. They're not eligible yet to be out there shooting. The gates are open. Fans are in here. We want to know your Bauscher Real Estate player of the game. Who's your prediction, your player to click? What's your key to the game tonight? Where are you watching this game from? Your score predictions, all that good stuff here on Bronco Nation News. David Moats making his way past us right there at center court. And it looks like there may be a 5-minute slide. They're talking about this right now. They haven't decided yet if they'll have the 5-minute slide on when these guys will get out there and get to start shooting. Weird rules they have here. I want both teams to have the same number of time to warm up. But I will say this, much better to be the first game than the second game. You only get the 27 minutes between games if you're the second game in the session. There's Alvaro Cardenas on your right. They're kind of wondering how much time they have waiting around here. You see David Moats there as well. I mentioned Jackson's our post-game show sponsor. You can watch the post-game show at Jackson's. $2 gets you a fountain drink and a hot dog 2 days after the Broncos score 70 points. You also can get that 99-cent coffee anytime, anywhere from our friends at Jackson. Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio and Game. Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa, been around since 1978. They're part of the Boise State home team. If you're looking for a spa, you're looking for a sauna, pool table, they got you covered. Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio and Game. We had our man Travis Hawks on the pregame show earlier today from Circa Resort and Casino. The Blue and Orange Store.com. Whether it's, coaches' sideline apparel, jerseys, hats, car flags, bumper stickers, they got that clearance rack in the front of the store. Highly recommend the Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com. I know everybody has multiple spots to go buy Boise State gear in town, but I recommend our sponsor, the Blue and Orange Store. And don't forget, you can order online anywhere in the world at theblueandorangestore.com. I mentioned Matt Bauscher Real Estate. We'll pick that Bauscher Real Estate player of the game coming up after the game. Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate, the number one ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. No home is too big or too small for Matt and his team. They're ready to help you out. Bauscher Real Estate, BauscherRealEstate.com. They'll fight for you. They'll get you that top dollar, and we appreciate Matt and his team for helping us out. Here we go from our live. We're back live. We got Abe Jackson with us. Abe didn't have to come You were probably wishing we were up there so you could stop at the Dairy Queen again, but appreciate you for jumping on.
I didn't stop there last time. I didn't stop there last time.
Your wife might be watching. Let's keep the record straight.
Let's be honest, so that is something I would do. That is something I'd do.
We are live here. The players, I guess, can't start shooting until 57 minutes on the clock, so kind of this weird time where they're kind of stretching and waiting around due to these rules. But, Abe, I said on the pregame show, hopefully we can do this again, at 5:30 tonight, and lo and behold, it didn't look great there for a while, down 11 late in the first half, but they hit those 2 huge threes before halftime and got it to 5, and then what a performance there in the second half defensively on the glass. Just a gutsy big performance yesterday to get the win.
Fantastic. I mean, you take a look at all the threes that were shot, and that was part of the game plan. And coming into that, to shoot all those threes, and they didn't make a great percentage, but you can't overestimate timely threes. I mean, there were 2 stretches where the threes basically got them back in the game or sealed the game, really. To get them back in, you're down 11, and then you go back-to-back threes to close out the half. Down 5 compared to 11 is huge. And then in the second half, you had back-to-back threes from Degenhardt and Cardenas, and so those were huge in the second half. They didn't make a ton of threes for the percentage that they had, but the timeliness of the threes were just amazing.
Yeah, and what'd you make of the 40 attempts?
I mean, it was part of the game plan. I'm sure you talked about it, and you had people tell you in your interviews that, they looked at film from the other games and thought and saw open shots that they had that were earlier in the shot clock, but they just hadn't ran their whole offense yet, so they didn't take them. And then all of a sudden, you get down under 10 seconds, and that's when San Diego State is really, really good at defense.
Yeah.
Is when they're trying to make you flail around, and you got to try and penetrate into the shot blockers and kick it out. So if you're open, shoot the 3, and they were open, and they shot a lot of them, didn't make a lot of them, but the ones that went in were big.
Yeah, those 2 in the second half, too, with Cardenas and Tyson with 5 minutes to go were massive. It seems like this Boise State team, the rebounding and particularly the offensive boards, not giving up offensive boards. I mean, the 18-3 second chance points, that was obviously a big deal last night. But I mean, every game that's a big deal for Boise State. But in a game like this, they are going to need another repeat effort on the boards, which that's all New Mexico's coaches have been hammering all day to their players is the board. So I think the rebounding battle is going to be huge tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be massive, and they have one of the best rebounders in the conference in Nelly Jr. Joseph. But what I think is a little different is that they might have the best rebounder in the conference, but I think Boise State has the best rebounding team in the conference. And so you have to have your hands full getting him. But the way that the guards crash and clean up the boards after the big guys are keeping the other guys off the rim, they might not get a lot of those rebounds. It's because your guards, your Buchanans and your Meadows and your Carmichaels and Cardenas coming in and getting those boards with the block out. So I think what's also going to be huge is the offensive rebounds. I mean, you can't win that game shooting the percentage that you did if you didn't get second chance points. San Diego State only outshot us by a couple percentage points in the game, and they didn't get offensive rebounds. And there was a ton to be had for them because they missed a bunch too. So the defensive rebounds were big for the Broncos, and then also the offensive boards. If you don't shoot a good percentage and you're going to get outshot, you have to do it by volume, and volume comes with offensive rebounds.
Abe Jackson, our guest, you'll hear him on the call coming up in about 26 minutes over on 670 KBOI, the Learfield, the Bronco Radio Network, and the various stations there, getting you set to him. And Bob Beeler will have their pregame show at 6 o'clock, right about the time. We're getting off this time, and we're not going to compete with you. We're going to get off just in time to let the folks flip over and listen to you tonight at 6 o'clock. We appreciate you, Abe, as always, for jumping on. A couple more things. I mean, the crowd tonight certainly is going to be big time for New Mexico. We were here last night and we saw it. My understanding is more New Mexico fans, got on planes last night after work and made the trip over. I mean, you can already see in the upper level up there, the New Mexico fans that hurried in here, an hour and a half before tip-off. It's not going to quite be the pit, but I mean, it is going to be a true road game tonight.
Yeah, the most packed that I've seen this place was last year during the championship game. I got to come down. It was New Mexico and I think San Diego State in it last year. And the whole place was pretty much packed. Other than that, I think this will be the biggest attended non-championship game that I think I've been a part of, with New Mexico being the majority, but a very loud minority from Boise State.
How do you, it is what it is. You just treat it like a road game and just try not to let the, because I will say too, the fast break points, we've talked about that, Abe, but especially in the pit, when they get going and that crowd gets into it, you saw it last night against San Jose. They really do feed off that crowd with their defense and turn that into offense.
Yeah, it comes down to Donovan Dent for New Mexico. And you can talk about those transition buckets as well, but that starts with him. Yeah, they get the rebound and then outlet, and then he's up the court, and probably one of the hardest guys maybe in the country to keep in front of you on a one-on-one basis. But the Broncos did a great job against him in Boise, throwing double teams at him, having him get rid of the ball, have somebody else make some of those decisions and have to penetrate and kick it out. So it'll be interesting. What's really interesting, too, is that you have two different game plans. You have a game plan from New Mexico that's probably focused around how do you take away a 4-man? And then you have Boise State's game plan on how do you take away a point guard. So you got these conflicting game plans from each team, and they're going to have their hands full, both of them.
Well, I guess Boise State was given the okay to start shooting. They're now out there taking some shots and getting more here. Tyson Degenhart fittingly takes the first shot and swishes the first shot. Abe Jackson, is tonight the night? I mean, 17 points from tying, 18 points from becoming the all-time leading scorer in Boise State basketball history. I mean, it's a big deal. I mean, obviously, it's a team game. The win is the most important thing tonight. Tyson will certainly say that if they're able to get the win, but could be on the cusp of one of the most historic nights in the history of this program tonight.
It could be, yeah, especially individually. And you take a look at that record that has stood for years and years. I don't know the right amount, but decades that record has stood. And so, Tyson's a guy who's put 4 years into a program, which I think is rare these days.
Yeah.
And it's paying off, not only with wins, but in NCAA tournaments, but with individual accolades. And individual records are one of those things that nowadays gets talked about so much more because there's so much more media and social media and people can reach out to you through different avenues and talk to you about things. But it's one of those things that it kind of sinks in after you're done playing is what you did individually, because it's so much about a team when you're there. Years afterwards, I'm sure that he'll take a look back and just say, I was a pretty damn good player.
Are they? Oh yeah, they definitely. I mean, are they going to need it? Do they need his? I mean, do they need the record to go down tonight? Do they need 18 out of him tonight in this game?
I think it would help, but I mean, I think you need a classic Tyson Degenhart game, which is 14 to 20 and 5 to 7 rebounds and a couple of assists and maybe a good shooting percentage.
What else? I mean, Andrew Meadow, Pearson Carmichael. The game in Boise, Pearson Carmichael, that was his first career start and had 21 points. Tyson had 32, obviously, but it seems like they're going to need Meadow, Carmichael, some of these other kind of role players to have big games tonight.
I think so, and I think you're going to have the spot-up threes that are going to be open because Tyson having such a big game against New Mexico the last time in Boise, I think he's going to see double teams. And I love the threes that they take out of the double teams better than I like the threes where they're just running off of screens around the three-point line. You get that ball, maybe not even inside. You get it to him, kind of outside of the block, and then he's backing down and reading that defense. And when the defense commits and you get a clean kick out, now all of a sudden you're playing 4-on-3 because of that double team. And the way that ball zipped around a few times, Meadow hit a big three in the corner against San Diego State on exactly that play. So I would be surprised if Degenhart gets double teamed, but a clean kick out from that double team will give the Broncos an advantage.
What do you make of the point guard matchup in this game? Because I think their SID was passing around the stat. I mean, first time in Mountain West history, the last time they played, where you had a double-double for both starting point guards with assists and points. I mean, these are the two best point guards in the Mountain West, and obviously controlling Donovan Dent the best you can is going to be a big key for Boise State tonight.
Huge key, it really is, but also controlling Cardenas. And you saw how important Cardenas is to making Boise State's offense go by how San Diego State played him. They basically denied every single thing. An inbounds, a guard pass. They had to run him off screens to get the ball just to get the offense started. So I think that shows how important that Cardenas is to getting the offense rolling. The offense runs through both of these players for each team, Dent and Cardenas.
And Nelly Jr. Joseph obviously is a load in the paint. I mean, is that hopefully Omar Stanley can stay out of foul trouble type thing, or how do you limit him?
Yeah, hopefully he can stay out of foul trouble. I wouldn't be surprised if Degenhart plays against him too. You got probably two of the strongest post players in the league in just strength-wise of Junior Joseph and Degenhart going against each other. But what'll be interesting is Omseal. I think he did not play in Boise.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a taller 6'7", 6'8" guy who can step out and shoot the three. So is that going to be maybe the four-man that gets taken out to the three-point line? And is it going to be Stanley? Is it going to be Degenhart? They might have to play outside a little bit.
Abe, what do you make as a player? We talked about this yesterday, and I kind of touched on earlier in the first question with you, but just getting that one yesterday out of the way. You win the first one. You kind of, I'm not saying they're going to, relax or whatever and take, not try. They know this game is bigger than yesterday's, but I asked Dan Dickau about this. I mean, as a former player, and especially when some of these guys have been one and done down here in the tournament in the past, I mean, just to get that first win, how big of a deal is that to be able to maybe play a little freer tonight?
It's a big deal. And I think it's also how you got that win. I mean, it was a grind. It was a battle. There was a play that I'm sure you've talked about where all you heard was just elbows and knees and hips hitting the floor.
Yep.
And then the ball came to Meadow, and it was a 50-50 call, and it went the Broncos' way.
Yes.
But that was a huge play. That just really sums up what that game was. That was about toughness, and it was about getting after those loose balls, and the Broncos did it. So I think it wasn't just a win to really get some momentum going, but how you did it. It wasn't that you just got extremely hot and shot 60% from the floor and 50% from three, and you just blew them out. It was a grind. So you got it a really tough way.
Mike Burns, man, the defense earlier in the season, you mentioned it, but no field goals in the last 9 minutes, only 5 points in the last 9-11, all on free throws. There was a time earlier this year, Abe, where the defense was literally costing them games. They were losing games because of their defense. Last night, they win a game in the biggest moment because their defense. Obviously, they're going to need another defensive effort tonight, but what can you say just about the improvement you've seen defensively here? As the crowd's starting to make themselves known here as some of the New Mexico players take the floor.
The defense was really impressive. The most impressive part to me on the defense yesterday was the help side, especially in that second half. The guards would, not that they would just get beat, but of course you're going to get beat driving to the hoop, running off a bunch of screens. But the help side that came over and went vertical, there was about 3 or 4 times in that second half where San Diego State got to the hoop, but then the help side made it tough, and then they ended up missing the shot. So the help side D was huge. And then, of course, the defensive rebound. You create a miss, that's your first step, but then the second step is you got to get that ball.
What's the feeling like for you, a former player calling these games, waking up today, semifinal Friday, just knowing how important this game is? A lot of people believe they still need this one tonight to have a chance, obviously, for the tournament, but just the feeling for you, man, a big game tonight and hoping there's a game tomorrow.
It's excitement. I mean, you can't ask for more than this. You really can't. You're playing in the semifinal in the Mountain West for a team that had really high expectations and might be hitting their stride toward the end of the season. I mean, they had that great closeout, only, 9 out of 11 games that they won to close out the regular season. So hitting their stride, hitting their toughness stride, and hopefully they can hit their stride at about 35% from three. I think that'd be big.
So final thing, what are your keys to us having to do this again tomorrow?
Well, shooting threes. I mean, that's what it really comes down to a lot. Hopefully they can be in the 30s. Even the low 30s would be nice. But then defensively, it's Donovan Dent. He's the hardest guy to guard one-on-one in the league. He's the best individual creator with the ball in the league, and he's also one of the best assist players. So not only does he go in there and can finish on his own, but he goes in there and makes the right decision and passes it out. It's going to be a handful for the Broncos, but they had a nice game plan the last time they played in Boise when the Broncos got that win, so hopefully they can duplicate that.
Well, Abe, we appreciate you for jumping on. Have a good call in about 17 minutes with Bob Beeler, and hopefully, like I said, we can do this again. Let's do it 3, 4, 5 more times this year, but definitely
it'd be good to talk tomorrow.
Definitely let's do it tomorrow.
All right,
thanks, man. Appreciate it. There he is, Abe Jackson. Appreciate him for jumping on the Lithia Florida Boise pregame show. We are courtside here at the Thomas and Mack Center, getting you set for Boise State and New Mexico in the semifinals of the Mountain West Tournament. You're watching a free show here of charge on YouTube, thanks to some of our great sponsors, including Ridley's at Family Markets, shopridleys.com. There's locations all over the state of Idaho, the surrounding states, Treasure Valley, Magic Valley, McCall. If you're looking for that hometown feel when you walk in a grocery store, I recommend Ridley's Family Markets. Download their Skip app. Get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line. Transportation Compliance Service. If you want to get into the trucking industry, they can help you out every step of the way. Transportation Compliance Service, DOT, overweight, all the permits, paperwork, everything you need. Check it out at transcompservice.com. Lean Feast, leanfeastmeridian.com. Healthy eating options at Lean Feast, leanfeastmeridian.com. Chicken, steak, shrimp, fish, you name it. Leanfeastmeridian.com is the website, leanfeastmeridian.com. We appreciate them, and they deliver anywhere in the Treasure Valley. So go check them out at leanfeastmeridian.com and get your order delivered today. We want some post-game voicemails. You guys are celebrating after this one. Leave us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing voice inbox line. The website is speakpipe.com/BNN. Speakpipe.com/BNN. Leave us a voicemail. We'll play it on the post-game show or an upcoming broadcast. This is brought to you by mysignatureroofing.com. Signature Roofing, covering our community for more than 2 decades, whether it's a re-roof, a repair, an inspection, an estimate, all your roofing needs. Hit up Signature Roofing, mysignatureroofing.com. You get a live look here. Boise State is at the far end warming up. We'll pan here and show you New Mexico getting some of their shots up here as well. Going to be a fun one today. Crowd is starting to file in. You see New Mexico here getting some shots up. They're going to be in the home whites tonight. Boise State for the second game in a row going with the blue uniforms. How are we feeling, Bronco Nation? You feel good about this one? Get your score predictions in, your thoughts, your comments Where are you watching from? We'll give some shout-outs here. Carson says, felt like a tighter rotation last night. Wonder if fatigue will play a role tonight. I would say tomorrow, maybe, not tonight. That's usually bigger on the third game, not the second. Last night, BSU went into the second half bonus with just under 10 minutes left in the game. Says he hopes the refs don't call a foul every time there is minor contact with Dent. New Mexico was trying to drive into the paint in the last 10 minutes, missed or were fouled. I do agree that the officiating could be a factor in this game tonight, certainly. Certainly, you want to see how they're going to call this game. I do not know who the officials are yet. We're working. They don't release those in the tournament play until closer to the time. So we do not know the officials for this game yet. But you see both teams on the floor warming up. And, yes, the officiating could play a major role in this game. Boise State needs to stay out of foul trouble. The left-handed player for Boise State taking shots, I assume you're talking about, that's Ethan Lathan. They call him Baby Bosch. Left-handed. He's gotten some comparisons to Chris Bosch. He's redshirting this year. They really like him, and he's going to have a chance to be a player for them moving forward. We got Mr. Dick watching from Lebanon, Tennessee. Appreciate you as always, Ken. He's got 78-68. I think I said 75-70 this morning. That we'll see if that ends up being the case or not. But you just feel like Boise State, if they can do what they need to do tonight, stay out of foul trouble, hit some big shots. I know the numbers and a lot of those things say that New Mexico should win this game, but it just feels like Boise State, in my mind, has something special brewing down here in Las Vegas on this season as a whole. And I don't know why, but I like Boise State again tonight. I feel pretty good about it. And I could be wrong. Could be a sad post-game show. But it just seems like something special is going on with this team right now. So it'd be tough to pick against them, against anybody. Certainly going to be a tough one against New Mexico, though. The Mountain West regular season champions, the number one seed in this tournament. BSU Bill asking about Buchanan's ankle. He rolled that pretty good last night. We will take a look at him. I haven't noticed anything with him yet. Looks to be moving okay from what I can tell. We'll try to study him a little bit closer as we move forward here, but I would not be that concerned. I know he stayed in the game. All right, AP has finally joined the chat. Not hitting on Leon or BJ tonight. And has some choice words for UNM. AP, missed you this morning, man. Missed you on the postgame show. Welcome back. I'm sure he's just firing up the YouTube chat here, so he's ready postgame if Boise State goes down. But thanks for watching, AP. We got Scream East from Nevada. There you go. Bob to the E is watching from Yuma, Arizona. Let's go, fellas, he says. Voucher Real Estate Player of the Game, Vern Harris, the official. Vern Harris is not I don't know. We don't know yet, but I would be surprised if Vern Harris was reffing this game. My guess is that Vern Harris will do the second semifinal game, because then he wouldn't do a game that had either of these teams playing. He refereed the Boise State game yesterday, so I would not expect him to do the game today. But he could do the championship tomorrow. That wouldn't surprise me at all if you get Vern Harris in the championship game. Bronco 130 also saying, hope the ankle's feeling good. Think he has a big game. He's got 71-66. 5-point win. We're getting a new timing sheet here. Did we have the 5-minute slide? The 5-minute slide? Yeah. We had a 5-minute slide. Okay, there was a 5-minute slide. So just so you guys know, the tip-off 7:41 is the tip-off time. 7:41 Mountain Time. There was a 5-minute slide on this game, which means the second game now scheduled to start at 10:10 Mountain Time. 10:10 Mountain Time is the starting time, and that may be generous. We'll have to wait and see for that second game. Uncle Buchanan, Tyson gets the record tonight, all class. You'd like to see it. It would certainly be key for Boise State tonight to get 18 points out of Tyson Degenhart, get that all-time scoring record, and help Boise State to a big win. And I know what Tyson's going to say after the game. It's all about the team. It's all about the team, but we could have history tonight. You'd hope there's a way. I know it's a Mountain West tournament basketball, but maybe they could take that ball out of play or do something after he gets the record. Well, I don't know what the rules are on that or what they're going to do. Some Kendrick Lamar bumping on the speakers here. They not like us. They not like us. We'll see if which team is not like the other in tonight's matchup tonight. It's going to be rowdy. I know Lobo fans are 5 beers in already. I'm jealous. We had a good time last night. Went back to Circa. Travis Hawks. We ended up meeting up with Jay Tuss, some other folks. We had a good time last night to know we were sticking around for another day, and we'll see if we can do it again tonight. Checked out Legacy Club on the 60th floor up there at Circa. Got to hang with the owner, Derek Stevens, Tyler Mays, Darren Banks, the whole crew there at Circa. We had a great time last night, and probably will be back tonight if Boise State's able to get a win. Spencer Wynn watching from St. Louis. Broncos 67, Lobos 62. Has a 5-point win. So a lot of people kind of feeling that 5-point win tonight. Must win. Ryan says, don't think they're in with an L. They not like us. They not like us. We'll see if they're like each other in this game. I love this song, by the way. So let's see what we got here. Ontario, Oregon. Go Broncos. Wrong. Lobo fans don't drink like that. They're a half ounce in already. 73-67. 73-67 is the score prediction from Mike. Appreciate you, Mike, for your score prediction here. Zach Studebaker. If Boise rebounds the same as last game, we have a good chance. Offensive rebounds for easy putbacks is what Zach Studebaker says. Southwest 678 did not have a good feeling about this game last year, but have a feeling we will win this one this year. I mean, you look at the numbers. Boise State's beaten them once, but a lot of the numbers, the Ken Palm, the point spread, all that stuff does lean slightly to New Mexico. But if you're picking Boise State tonight, I think you're picking them more just on feel, on gut, on the fact that Boise State just isn't going to lose this game. They're a team of destiny. They're going to win this game. If that's kind of your feeling, that's why you're picking them. I mean, if you're going off some of the numbers, you're playing the regular season champions. You're playing the player of the year in the conference in Donovan Dent, one of the best big men in the conference and in the country, and Nelly Jr. Joseph. So it's certainly going to be a very, very, very tough game. We'll see if Donovan Dent reacquaints himself with Matt Bauscher or Mark Sanchez or any of the folks in the crowd. By the way, shout out to Craig Shoemaker over there. I see him watching. He's a big supporter of BNN, watching on his AirPods right now, listening. He came over this morning to the show. So shout out, Craig. I see you over there, man. Appreciate you. Thanks for always listening and supporting the shows here. Also need to see if Travis Hawks is going to reacquaint himself with Richard Pitino. Travis Hawks and Richard Pitino were jawing a little bit in the last game. We'll see if they end up, and I joke because they're obviously not going to talk to each other, but maybe he can get his attention and wave to him or something. Who knows? Let's see. Dan and Dory Atkinson checking in. We saw Chris Atkinson. Chris made it over. Atkinson's Mirror and Glass to our pool party today at Circa. Had a great time. Missed you, Dan and Dory, at the pool party today, but had a good time. And it was a fun time. We had about 50 people show up. Had some beverages, some food, watched some games. It was a little cold, a little windy, but it was a Friday afternoon in Vegas at the pool with a game tonight. So everybody had a good time. Yes, the Atkinson's Mirror and Glass. Jumpin' Idaho, great pregame as usual. Thanks, BJ. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Kurt says, need everyone hitting tonight to win. Get it to the basket, not 43s. I don't think that's going to be they need to make some threes tonight, but they're not going to shoot 43s, Kurt. I don't think that happens today. I would put the over-under about 25 threes. I think they were 10 of 24 last time they played. So somewhere in the 23 to 28 range maybe tonight, but I don't see them taking 43s tonight. I just do not see that. I think tonight that they're more in the 27 range-ish, something like that. See the Keene family over there. See the Degenhart family over there to the left. Family members are making their way into the arena. It's going to be a heavy, heavy, heavy Lobo crowd tonight. I mean, they've got fans, folks, up in the upper level in almost every section at this point. So it's going to be a road game here tonight, no doubt about it, for Boise State. I'm guessing it's going to be, I don't know, 30-1. I mean, if there's 12,000 fans here, there might be 1,000 for Boise State. So I guess that's not quite 30-1, but there's going to be like 400 or 500 for Boise State. I don't know if they're going to be able to get anywhere close to it's a road game. There's really no way around it tonight. It's going to be a road game for Boise State. You see the New Mexico players here getting set for this one. Boise State down there at the other end. You see Abe Jackson, Bob Beeler getting ready to go tonight. So he's showing you press row here as they get ready for their broadcast. Donovan Dent slapping five with some players right here. Again, you're getting a live look at warmups. Only place right now you can get a live look at warmups, live pregame coverage right here on Bronco Nation News. Thanks to all of our great sponsors. Lithia Ford of Boise sponsoring this pregame show. Get out to Lithia Ford of Boise, lithiafordboise.com. We couldn't do this show without the support of our sponsors, like Lithia Ford of Boise and our title sponsor, rowpaint.com, Andy Rowe and Company. Let's take 30 seconds and thank Lithia Ford of Boise. We're back here in 30 seconds on the pregame show.
If you think I'm pretty, lay your hands on me. No, you can't stop thinking about it. I know that you're shitty and you're bad for me, but I can't stop thinking about it. If you think I'm pretty, lay your hands on me. No, you can't stop thinking about it. I know that you're shitty and you're bad for me, but I can't stop thinking about it.
And let's thank our title sponsor, Andy Rowe, rowpaint.com. All your painting needs. Here's Andy Rowe and Leon Rice. We're back in 15 seconds.
When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust rowpaint.com to get that job done right.
Well, all of you guys are trusting Leon Rice to get the win tonight as well. We'll see if the Broncos can come up with a big-time victory to help keep their season alive and put them in the championship game tomorrow night. More Kendrick Lamar. Back-to-back Kendrick Lamar songs here. The DJ is feeling it. I'm liking it. Benjamin Lee, we appreciate you, man. 3+ hours of BNN in the last 24 hours. We have the hour pregame, the hour postgame, the hour show today. I mean, this is 4 hours. If you've only watched 3, what are you doing, Benjamin? All kidding aside, appreciate Benjamin Lee for jumping on. I'm trying to see if I can get the great Jay Tuss to give us 30 seconds here. I'm not sure I can. I see Chris Atkinson over here. Atkinson's Mirror and Glass. Fans are filing in here. It's going to be a lot of fun tonight, folks. Looking forward to this. And again, you're watching this show free of charge, exclusive coverage here on Bronco Nation News. Help us out if you can. Subscribe, $50, BNN 50 deal. BNN 50 deal, BroncoNationNews.com. Use the promo code at the bottom of the screen, BNN 50 deal. Mike Prater, Nathan Carroll, myself, all of our exclusive content, a daily email, all kinds of great stuff. And you get coverage like this, shows like this. You help support us, all of our travel costs and expenses and things like that. My son, Naismith Raines, has 2 baseball games tomorrow. I told him I love him, but I hope I'm missing him. If Boise State wins tomorrow, I'm going to miss 2 games. But if they find a way to get the win, then then I'll be. If they lose, I'll be back in time. But if they win, then certainly I will gladly miss my kids' games to be down here for the championship. So a lot on the line tonight for Boise State. Spencer Buchanan saying trolls will be silent again tonight. Leon shows he can win the big one tonight, tomorrow, and next week. Ben V says Ryan's got Lobos by 10 or Broncos by 2. Could go either way. Ryan McCollum could go either way. That's I agree. That's great stuff. Ryan, great stuff there. Again, folks, support the sponsors. You're watching live footage over an hour. We had Dan Dickau on. If you came on late, go back to the beginning. Dan Dickau was on. Jeff Grammer was on. We'll give you a look here of the band. There's your band, folks. The Blue Thunder Pep Band. They're getting fired up. They're ready to go. It's going to be a fun one tonight. We appreciate you guys for checking us out. Please support the sponsors. Tell them you appreciate what they're doing for BNN and for making shows and coverage like this possible. You just watched a 1 hour. You're still watching a 1 hour pregame show live from the Thomas and Mack Center here in Las Vegas. So we appreciate you guys for checking us out. And we can't keep doing these shows for free unless you're supporting the sponsors, letting them know, folks like Travis Hawks, the folks at Idaho Central Credit Union, let all them know that their support of Bronco Nation News is the reason that you're supporting their business and returning their favors. We got 12 great sponsors. Let's take 30 seconds and thank our 12 sponsors that make this show possible.
Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, RovePaint.com. Our major sponsors, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, Lithia Ford, the Blue and Orange Store, Jackson's, and our contributing sponsors, Signature Roofing, Western Collective, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Boucher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and Timberstone Golf Course.
We're back on the Lithia Florida Boise pregame show live from the Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas. The BSU pep band getting ready for tonight's game. Crowd filing in, going to be a festive atmosphere tonight. We're really looking forward to this game tonight here at the Thomas and Mack Center. Shane with our final comment tonight says BSU down 1, 10 seconds left. Tyson hits the winning shot to break the record. That would be something, but a lot of folks would probably have a heart attack if that were the case. So, folks, thanks for checking us out. We got to get off the show here. 30 minutes before tip-off is the rule. We got to be off the air. We appreciate all you guys for checking us out tonight. Somebody asked about the post-game show. Yes, the post-game show will start about 30 to 40 minutes after the game ends, right about when the Utah State Colorado game starts. Fire us up on YouTube. Put that game on mute. Hopefully it's a fun, festive post-game show. We will be up in the concourse for the post-game show, and I can't wait for that. So support the sponsors. Go subscribe, BNN 50 deal. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate Jaden Finch behind the scenes for getting us on and off the air. Enjoy the game, folks. A big one coming up in about a half an hour. 30 minutes till tip-off. Boise State, New Mexico. Massive implications for the Broncos as they try to get into the NCAA tournament. Watch it on CBS Sports Network and then join us for the postgame show. Bronco Nation News, BroncoNationNews.com. You can go read our article. Go watch the postgame press conference on YouTube. A lot of great stuff. Go check it out, and we will see you postgame. Good luck to all of you. Good luck to Boise State. Hopefully it's a fun postgame show if Boise State can pull it off. The Broncos, the Lobos, a spot in the championship game on the line, maybe a spot in the NCAA tournament for Boise State on the line. Enjoy the game, folks. We'll talk to you afterwards. This has been the Lithia Florida Boise pregame show, presented by our title sponsor, RovePaint.com. My name is PJ Rains. Enjoy the game. We'll talk to you afterwards here on Bronco Nation News.
Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, RovePaint.com. Our major sponsors, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, Lithia Ford, the Blue and Orange Store, Jackson's, and our contributing sponsors, Signature Roofing, Western Collective, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Boucher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and Timberstone Golf Course.
It's game day. Are you ready?
Let's go!